Hey guys, okay, so I'm getting ready to go to church home, and a couple of things have been just like on my mind that I wanted to talk to you guys about. A lot of my last few videos, if you watch them, I try to keep it like as authentic and real as possible. Um, and one of the things that I've just really been pressing on and kind of difficulty is I just have been feeling sometimes like being a Christian is tough. And, of course, I know that it's biblically, it says we're going to be challenged, but I feel like with Christianity, I struggle, like maybe not feeling like Christian enough because I am necessarily not on like fire all the time. I think my walk is like kind of ups and downs. And I feel like I hang out with my community members and they're like on a different wavelength, the people at my church. And I just feel like sometimes I don't have really much in common in terms of like I think the things that they enjoy are the things of God, which I think is great. Sometimes I feel guilty that I don't desire, like, maybe at the intensity of other Christians. Like, I feel like I am developing this relationship with God, and I have trouble with like Christianity and Christians too, because sometimes I feel like, we're a little judgmental. And I just don't, of course, there's like you know, re- just religion's like complicated and complex. And sometimes I feel like I'm in a box and it seems sometimes a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. I just have been like reflecting and just so much. I think God has been dealing with so much in my heart this week in terms of just being open enough to like welcome people in my life, because I feel like I've been struggling in the area of relationships and I feel like I'm very guarded. And of course, I think you should have a level of discernment, and not just, of course, guard your heart. But I think I've just been struggling, like, especially with my Christian friendships, I've just been struggling and not feeling like I'm Christian enough to be with them, or not feeling like, sometimes I just sometimes don't feel like Christian enough, and I feel like I'm a little bit struggling in that regard. Is like, I feel like I don't fit in because I am not doing all these things of like, and of course, yeah, I just like really wrestle, guys. Like, I'm really trying to just navigate like being a Christian woman, being in my 20s, but also like having other interests besides like church. And so I think a lot of the times I get like a little frustrated and feel constricted. Like, the other day I was like, really overwhelmed just by what God was asking me to do. And I felt really, really overwhelmed. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I was just like, Lord, I don't know if I can do this. I think we advocate for growth, growth, growth. But when it gets there, at least for me, I can only speak to myself. I'm like, oh crap. Well, I don't want to change that just yet because it's like a comfort. So I feel all of that to say is like, I feel like I'm like struggling a little bit. Like, with my relationships with like Christianity, I'm struggling with Christianity in terms of I feel like I'm not Christian enough. I feel like I don't really fit quite in terms of like, because I don't know. I just don't feel like I always want to listen to Christian music. I don't feel like I always want to like have just this lifestyle that looks one particular way. It's like feels very performative, and I'm just wrestling with like what's real and what's performative. And I know God wants us to bring our real selves. So I'm just like struggling with that, guys. Like, I'm trying to like live a life that is of God, but also being authentically Megan. And, sometimes I accidentally fall asleep during my prayer time. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I sometimes don't want to do certain things, you know, and that's just that. But I know God is working on me every day, which gives me so much hope because I kind of look at myself and I know we shouldn't do this, but I feel like sometimes I compare myself with other people and where they're at with their journey, because I just feel like I'm not as on fire as maybe some people are, because I've been seriously walking for God for 1 year now, and I still don't feel like this the I don't know. I felt it at the beginning, this like just this fire and intensity, and now I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't know if that's normal. Like just kind of this settling, this balance, this equilibrium where it's like, and I just feel kind of like disconnected from sometimes like the community members. I know God has assigned me, but sometimes I feel like Christian community, I feel like an outcast because, you know, some of the things that they enjoy doing or talking about, like I honestly had a breakdown the other day. I'm like, Lord, I love games and I love game nights, but it's like I feel like as a Christian you can't do anything. And it drives me nuts because I feel like I love like freedom, and it's like of course I know God is a God who is like can meet you where you're at, but I struggle because guys, I sometimes don't want to, like sometimes I want to go out, sometimes I want to go out to a bar and enjoy myself and with my friends that aren't maybe necessarily like Christian. And I know that too, and I think I struggle like with like really like religious people that are in Christianity that are like, oh my gosh, if you do that, you know, all the spiritual implications to that. But I don't know. I just think there's this wrestle that I really feel like with Christianity and just my life in general, in terms of like the things that I'm interested in, but also my faith in God. Um, so yeah, I'm just like really going through it, guys. In terms of like, but I love you guys. I will continue to pray for you. Yeah, and just for those of you who feel like I do, if there is anybody out there, just know that it's okay to feel like this. I'm working through this. I don't think I've heard really, I have just like other interests sometimes, and I just feel like I want to bring Christianity into those interests. I want to bring, but I think sometimes when hanging out with Christian community, I feel like they want to like change and fix you and they want to help you. But sometimes I just want to be and let God do the work. I don't need like 17 scriptures because I can read. I barely, you know, I've been reading the word, but like not as consistent as I should. But I don't know. I just like want to let go of like religiousness and really test out kind of just relationship. And I know some religious people are probably like, Megan, what are you saying? What are you doing? But I just really feel in my heart like that's not like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff I'm doing is because I was taught that this is what you should do, not like who where hurt is, if that makes sense. Like I feel like doing religious rhetoric and doing the religious things not out of a posture of a heart posture that desires to do those things. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know if I'm going to include all of this, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about how I'm feeling. I'm about to go get Sweetgreen because I'm starving Marvin. I need a Sweetgreen. I'm so hungry. Yeah, I'm so hungry. Starving Marvin.